Psychology reveals if she wants to sleep with you, you'll see these changes. No matter how smooth your game is, there's one thing men still misread all the time: the moment when attraction quietly turns physical in her mind. Most guys look for clichés, flirtier texts, longer hugs, playful touches. But the truth? Women often shift in ways far subtler, more psychological than physical. These aren't the moves she shows everyone. They're micro-adjustments, born out of instinct and emotional readiness. If you know how to read them, you'll start noticing when the tension crosses the line from just interest to "I'm imagining him in my bed." Here's what psychology says you'll see when that happens. 1. Her conversational rhythm changes. She starts syncing her timing to yours. Most people think sexual attraction shows up through words, but it often reveals itself in timing. When a woman begins wanting you on a deeper, more physical level, her subconscious begins matching your conversational rhythm. If you pause mid-sentence, she pauses too. If you speak slower, she adjusts without realizing it. It's a neurological phenomenon called speech mirroring, a form of unconscious rapport building the brain only does with people it wants to bond with, or mate with. She's not doing it on purpose. It's her body's way of aligning with your pace, as if she's saying, "We're on the same wavelength." If you catch that subtle sync, those moments when your laughter overlaps or her responses fit your breathing pattern, it's not coincidence. It's chemistry trying to match tempo. 2. She lets her guard words slip. Every woman has what psychologists call guard words, those tidy little verbal habits that keep emotional distance. They're the polite laughs, the neutral fillers like "yeah, totally," or the habit of steering serious talks into surface jokes. When she starts dropping those, it's a tell. Suddenly her language becomes unfiltered. Sentences that start with "I don't know why I'm telling you this, but," or admissions that reveal vulnerability. It's a rare shift, because women only let go of these guard words when they stop worrying about being perceived as too much. The psychological cue here is emotional disinhibition, often triggered when attraction crosses into trust. It's her mind relaxing its gatekeepers, a sign that the part of her that censors desire is starting to take a back seat. 3. Her sense of humor subtly aligns with yours. Not imitation, calibration. Humor is one of the brain's fastest bonding mechanisms, but when she's actually imagining intimacy with you, her laughter changes register. Not louder, softer. It lands in those quick, delayed giggles that seem to appear half a second after yours. That delay isn't disinterest. It's her mirror neuron system trying to catch your emotional tone and match it precisely. It's called calibrated laughter, and psychologists say it shows up when we want someone to perceive us as emotionally attuned. It's the brain's quiet way of saying, "See, we're tuned to the same frequency." You might notice she stops performing humor and starts sharing it, referencing private jokes you two built earlier, leaning into your specific brand of sarcasm or dry wit. That subtle alignment is intimacy rehearsing itself before it becomes physical. Pause for a sec. If you've been putting real effort into becoming your best version lately, drop the word growth in the comments. I want to see who's building momentum right now. 4. Her distractions disappear when you talk, even micro ones. Pay attention when she's around her phone, her friends, her food, or her hair. Normally, a woman balances attention across multiple channels. It's a social skill wired into her communication style. But once she starts wanting you physically, that diffusion of focus collapses. You'll notice she doesn't multitask around you anymore. The world narrows. Her body subtly orients toward you. Knees, torso, even her drinking straw pointing your way. When you speak, her eyes hold just a little longer than politeness requires. Psychologists call this selective fixation, the brain's way of prioritizing stimuli that matter most for potential reward. Translation: you've become the most interesting thing in the room. She's not zoning out. She's subconsciously optimizing focus for connection. 5. Her voice finds a velvet register. Forget the cliché that women talk higher when attracted. That's only true in early flirtation, not when desire deepens. When she's imagining intimacy, her tone often drops into what linguists call the velvet register, a slightly slower, softer, and warmer cadence. It's a voice with less tension, more texture. It's subtle, but it carries a biological message: relaxation around you. The parasympathetic nervous system activates, calming her throat muscles. She might sound like she's half whispering, half confiding, because her body is signaling emotional safety, which is the prerequisite for physical closeness. If you hear her tone switch from bright and social to mellow and immersive, it's not just how she talks. It's her physiology lowering the drawbridge. 6. She starts curating her proximity. not closing in, but orbiting. Most advice focuses on whether she moves closer to you, but real attraction doesn't always rush forward. It tests gravity. You'll notice she starts orbiting within your space instead of sitting still. Maybe she drifts near your side during conversation, only to step away and circle back. Maybe she finds excuses to re-enter your physical radius, returning after a drink refill, brushing past, or standing beside you without directly facing you. This isn't random fidgeting. It's what behavioral scientists call proximity calibration, her body experimenting with distance to see how much charge the air between you holds. When desire grows, that space becomes magnetic. She'll hover near it because it feels alive. It's the physical world's version of typing, but not sending the message. 7. Her energy becomes focused play. When interest deepens, her behavior moves from scattered flirting to a curious concentration. She still jokes and teases, but there's an intent behind it now. Her eyes watch how you react. Her comments land like little experiments. Psychologists call this adaptive play behavior, the moment someone uses humor or spontaneity not just for fun, but to measure compatibility. If you notice she begins turning ordinary moments into micro-games, asking you to guess things about her, challenging your opinions, or playfully mimicking your expressions, she's no longer just enjoying conversation. She's testing how you handle tension. That shift from random laughter to directed play is often the mind's way of asking, could this connection hold more heat? 8. She starts future tense daydreaming out loud. A subtle marker of intensifying attraction is when she begins to insert you into future imagery without thinking about it. It's not dramatic plans. It's slips of speech like, if we ever travel somewhere, or you'd probably hate how I cook this. This is known in cognitive psychology as projective association. Her imagination is exploring continuity, and language leaks those experiments. She's not promising anything. Her brain is simply running simulations to see how closeness with you would feel. When those tiny projections start appearing, it shows her mind has begun building a shared narrative in advance. 9. Her micro-expressions linger in the half-second range. Facial studies show that when attraction heightens, certain micro-expressions last longer than normal, especially around the mouth and eyes. Watch for that fractional delay before she looks away, or the half-smile that hangs as though she's caught herself mid-thought. Neuroscientists call this a reward prediction pause. The brain halts briefly when it encounters something it desires but hasn't yet secured. The look isn't theatrical. It's almost imperceptible, like a frame that freezes between friendship and something unspoken. Catching that flicker once is coincidence. Seeing it several times is chemistry doing reconnaissance. 10. She starts mirroring your emotional tempo, not your words. Mirroring isn't about copying gestures. It's about aligning emotional speed. You talk about something serious, and instead of deflecting, she meets you there. You get animated, and she rises with you. Then, when you calm, she settles. This is called effective pacing, a sign that her nervous system is synchronizing with yours. It's the biological foundation of intimacy, two separate bodies finding a shared rhythm. Most people never notice it happening. It's less about what's said, more about how tension and calm travel between you. When you sense that emotional choreography, connection is no longer conceptual. It's embodied. 11. She edits less. Early on, people curate every sentence. But when she begins to feel drawn to you in a deeper way, that internal editor loses authority. Messages get sent before she proofreads. Her stories meander. She admits to messy opinions. This loosening of control is a psychological indicator of comfort, known as authentic self-disclosure. It means she's trading presentation for presence. Attraction strong enough to quiet self-monitoring is rare, and it usually signals that the interaction has crossed from strategic to instinctive. You're no longer an audience. You're a participant in her unguarded mind space. 12. She begins to anchor calm in your presence. The final transformation isn't excitement, it's ease. You'll notice her sigh more, laugh from her stomach, stretch without self-consciousness. In behavioral psychology, that's called safety signaling, the body's way of saying, I can relax here. Desire isn't just adrenaline, it's the balance of arousal and safety. When both exist, attraction matures. Her nervous system treats you as both spark and shelter, and that combination is what turns curiosity into connection. If she starts seeking you out not for thrill but for quiet moments, the shared silence after a joke, the comfortable pause before goodbye, that's the clearest sign her interest has crossed into something deeper.